My hair is hella fluffy in this video and I know I need to get a haircut, but we're not talking about my hair over here. Instead, we're talking about the Lypertek SoundFree S20, a set of true wireless earbuds that can be found for roughly £70 in the UK and around $70 in the US. Although I will say that at the time of making this video, it can be found for around £50 in the UK. So in this review, we're going to see if it's actually worth its money and how does the Levi compare to its more expensive sibling, the Tevi. And in case you want to watch that video, by the way, it'll be up on your pop-up banner. Now, before jumping into this independent, detailed review, if you do want to see more from the channel, definitely do consider subscribing if you haven't already, and hit that bell notification, as it would be greatly appreciated. So jumping straight in, we're going to talk about Bluetooth codecs, and here the earphones have the AAC and SBC codecs. Unfortunately, there's no aptX, aptX HD, or LDAC codecs in sight. Here at this price point, it's kind of to be accepted. However, some of its competitors, and including its more expensive sibling, support the higher quality aptX codec, so it'd be nice to see that included. Now, when it comes to connectivity to your smartphone, in my case, I had no issues connecting up to my Android smartphone, and I had no video lag or lip sync delays, even while using the AAC codecs. Of course, your mileage may vary depending on your Android device. If you're on iOS, however, the AAC codec will be absolutely flawless in this respect. Now, elsewhere, I should mention that the overall Bluetooth range is somewhat okay. I was able to walk around 8 to 10 meters through walls. No, not like a ghost, but was able to walk away and had no problems in terms of connectivity. Anything more than that, I start having some dropouts, and unfortunately here some of its competitors do a slightly better job in terms of giving you slightly increased Bluetooth range, although I don't suspect this will be a major problem for most individuals, because you'll be placing probably your smartphone in your pocket, or let's say in a bag, and having your earphones in your ears, and therefore the connectivity won't be an issue. Also, on that note, the earphones have both master drivers. In other words, both the right and left earbuds can be used independently from each other. In other words, you can use one earbud without having to worry about the other being plugged in, which is great, and at this price point is definitely a rarity, and here Lypertek should definitely be commended. Now, with that all out of the way, let's get on to the actual sound quality, and here they've got some dynamic drivers. Starting off with the sub-bass extension, it is pronounced. You can actually hear it down there in the low-end extension trying to produce that low-end rumble. However, it won't compete with the likes of, let's say, the one more Piston Buds, which deliver a little bit more of a pronounced low-end extension. As for the mid-bass, it's okay. You can hear it like you would hear the sirens coming out by the road next to me, and the mid-bass can definitely be felt. Yet again, it doesn't have that sort of pronounced feel as, let's say, the one more Piston Buds. However, it does also suffer from a little bit of an uncontrolled type of nature. So if you're going to be listening to a lot of bass-heavy music, you might find the Lypertek earphones struggle to keep up with that progressive or consistent bass line. Now, as for the mids, however, here is where the earphones really shine, specifically at this price point. In comparison to other earphones, such as the one more Piston Buds, or let's say the creative Outlier Air, these earphones really do shine in the mid-range frequencies, and it actually took me by surprise. While they're not exactly forward sounding in their mid-range, they do provide you a nice, good overall reproduction that will keep you excited whilst listening to male or female vocals, something that couldn't be said about its competitors. As for the highs, here, very much like the mids, they extend very well. They've got a really nice pronounced sound, and to my ears didn't sound sibilant or harsh, so therefore no matter in terms of the overall sound volume that you're listening to, if you've got ears like mine in terms of sensitivity of up to 17 kilohertz, then what you'll find is these earphones won't bother your ears. Now, as for soundstage, here the earphones do have a little bit more of a closed sound. They lack that width and depth that you'd hear, for example, on the likes of the creative Outlier Air, but the creatives are literally a little bit of an outlier in comparison to other earphones out there on the market. Most earphones will portray this sort of closed sound, and at this price point it's to be perfectly acceptable. What I'm trying to say over here is that while the soundstage won't compete with some earphones out there on the market, in comparison to most budget earphones out there, here these earphones will do perfectly fine and give you a decent soundstage reproduction. The instrument separation could have been a little bit bettered, and here is where I found that the Tevi really did excel in comparison to the Levi earphones, because, they just portrayed just a little bit of a better dynamic sound. Now moving on, we get on to recording quality, and everything you can hear right now is coming directly from the earbuds. What I will say is that the overall sound is perfectly fine, and in comparison to their more expensive siblings, the Tevi earphones, the Levi don't suffer from this kind of buzzing sound that might be a little bit distracting for those people who are going to be taking calls, or for those people who are just going to be recording their own voice, like I am doing right now. So in this respect, I have no issues whatsoever. However, in terms of the overall sound reproduction, they can't quite compete with the likes of, let's say, the One More Piston Buds. Speaking of which, here are the One More earphones, and as you might be able to hear, the overall recording quality just comes across a lot more natural. It doesn't sound as condensed as the Lypertek earphones, and furthermore, my voice is coming across a little bit more accurately. At least that is in my opinion, so do let me know in the comments below what you make of the recording quality between the two earphones. Now moving on, we get to build quality and design, and before we do that, let's talk about what you get in the package. Well, you've got a Type-C to Type-A cable, so yes, there's a Type-C connector port to charge them, and then you've got a selection of dual flank and single flank tips, which is actually quite rare to see in a set of true wireless earbuds. Dual flank tips have never been really comfortable for me, but of course you might prefer them, so here at Lypertek provide them as an option. You've got small, medium and large to choose from. Now when it comes to the earphones charging case, it doesn't feel that premium. In fact, it kind of reminds me of kind of like a 3D printed design, and I've got no real issues with that when it comes to an environmental point of view. However, in comparison to some of its competitors, it just doesn't look or feel as premium. But of course that's very trivial, and the look and feel is not that important, because the most important here is in terms of charging it. Now you've got the Type-C input to charge it, and here it'll take roughly 1 to 2 hours to go from 0 to empty, in other words the case itself, and then there's some LED lights on the case which provide you an indication of how much charge the case actually has. Speaking of which, here the case provides a whopping 40 hours of charge, while the earphones themselves can be used for 8 hours at a single stretch. And from my tests, I found that this was pretty much accurate as to what the manufacturer claimed. Furthermore, the earphones are IPX5 rated. Not that's going to really matter, but that means that you can take them on a light jog when it's raining and be having sweat. I think most earphones have that rating, but they don't quote it. Nevertheless, the earphones themselves come out of the case naturally, and it's great to see. There's no sort of twisting mechanism to use, and there's a magnetic kind of clasp which brings them into the case. And the earphones design, well, there's nothing too much to really note about other than the button which is found at the top segment of the earphones. Now here the buttons can't be configured, at least at not the time of making this video, and here they'll provide you a play and pause on either side when tapped once. If you double tap the left one, it will go previous, and you double tap the right one, it goes next. If you triple tap the left one and you triple tap the right one, then these will basically activate the ambient aware. You can listen to your surroundings if you so wish. I did find that the feature is a little bit primitive and doesn't really add that much in terms of listening to your surroundings. Now when it comes to actually using the buttons, I do find that when you do press the buttons, they do resonate in your ears ever so slightly, which means that it makes for a slightly uncomfortable experience. Although in comparison to their more expensive siblings, you don't have to hard push on the facade of the earphones and rather press on a button, which means that it's just a little bit easier to interact with your earphones, and furthermore doesn't cause as much discomfort. Now finally, I should mention in terms of wind noise, there's no inherent problem because, well, the earphones don't stick out too much from my ears, but of course your mileage may vary. You might have smaller ear canals and therefore the earphones might stick out like a sore thumb, and they're not exactly as flush as some of its competitors, specifically for example the One More Piston Buds. And so this all leads me on to my verdict. What do I make about the Lypertek SoundFree S20? Now these true wireless earbuds have definitely gotten a reputation on the internet as being a great budget earphone, and I can see where that praise comes from. However, you should consider there's some other earphones out there on the market. Hopefully I've made it clear that the One More earphones are better in terms of recording quality, while the creative Outlier Air are better in terms of overall sound quality, specifically when it comes to the soundstage. However, in terms of an overall package, combined with the battery life, the nice portability, and even in terms of the controls, which are, well, a little bit intrusive at some times, but they're very easy to access, it makes these earphones a quite compelling option for those people who are on a budget. My personal suggestion would be to spend a little bit more and to get its better sibling, its little bit more expensive sibling, or some other true wireless earbuds out there on the market. If, however, you are on a very tight budget and you don't want to be spending more, and or these earphones come out on a sale, for example, as I said before, at the time making this video, they can be found for around £50, I can't really think of a better all-round true wireless earbud that would really compete with these buds, and as a result they get my value award. So do let me know in the comments below what you make of the true wireless earbuds. Do you own them? Were you thinking of them? Or is there other earphones out there on the market that you would suggest over these? Let me know, and of course if you like this video, give it a like and subscribe and hit that bell notification to see more independent, unbiased, unpaid reviews from the channel. And furthermore, if you want to keep up with my shenanigans on social media, definitely do check them out. They'll be in the links in the description below. Alright, I've been Totally Dubbed. Take care of yourselves, and goodbye.